Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines, and most importantly, provide some actual insight into what we can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice a week long form podcast, so I can put the right information out there from the people who have done what you're looking to do, or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. All right, we are back in studio. It is Monday, and it is time to break some stuff down. Yeah, I was out on the road. I got to do a little bit of a weekend recap here. Hold on one sec. I got some freight moving, you guys. Sorry. All right. Yeah. I had some freight moving there this morning, you guys, and just got to keep everybody informed about what's going on. So I was out in Houston on Thursday and Friday for Freight Fest. Ramel Watley, Truck and Hustle podcast, he put on this event. It was phenomenal. And it is just, I always love getting out there and just meeting as many people as possible, seeing some old faces, getting caught up on everything, and, and really just kind of seeing what's going on in the industry from people who are out there building, right? Like it's so different when you are building something up from scratch, right? You're bootstrapping it. And that's what a lot of the attendees were that were there. And it, for me, it's always great just being in that environment. And, it's just a different vibe. And I loved it. Ramel put on a phenomenal show. I was only really there on Friday morning because I had to fly out. I had some other events that I had to be in attendance at as well. And, but it was just, it's a vibe, man. It really is. It was intense. They had DJ there spinning. Like, I don't know if I can ever attend another conference that doesn't have a live DJ playing stuff. And but it was great getting out there. And yeah, Robert, I would definitely look into attending that. Robert Blake, as soon as you can, man. Because it's just, I don't know, it's just such a different feel when you're around people who are just out there trying to make it work, right? Like, again, I've mentioned this on the show, a few times. I'm a bootstrap founder, and meeting other individuals who've gone down that route and who are going down that route, it's just good information to be around, and then just to kind of get a pulse of the industry from the ground up level, right? Like, I think and obviously a lot of the articles that we break down on this show are, a lot of the macro problems that are out there, right? And that's why I go live and talk about a lot of the stuff that I talk about is it's like, no offense to any of the publicly traded companies out there, but like, the information that they're putting out there doesn't necessarily apply to that individual who is trying to build their business from the ground up, right? Getting that next shipper, getting that next couple of loads, whatever that looks like. It's a lot different, like, obviously there's a lot of value in what some of these larger companies are doing, a lot of the strategy, right? Because, trying to emulate that can be beneficial in your business. But if you're like, man, I'm trying to secure funding to be able to hire somebody, by funding and be like a line of credit from a bank to be able to hire somebody because, my receivables are at, 50 days and I need to pay my people and stuff like that. Like, those are the conversations that I love being a part of, and I love taking out, and it was just great. It was awesome seeing a bunch of people that I hadn't seen here in a little bit because I haven't really been out on the road much this year because we're building, right? We're building all this stuff up. But now it was a good time out there. I would highly recommend checking that conference out next year when wherever he decides to put that on. It might be in Houston again. I'm not sure, but I would definitely, I think that's one that you need to put on your map and attend because I like the vibe. I love the just the energy in the room and just the people that were there. It was phenomenal. So, all righty, let's see here. Got some people tuning in here. Sonny Sharma, what's up, man? Orange shirt gang. I actually saw Sonny last week. It was awesome. He was literally in Gilbert next to my around the way home, actually, and I was able to swing in and see him in person. Always good to see him, man. Let me see here. Corey, what is up? Happy Monday, Freight Freaks. He says, Jamie Beer Temple. I'm sorry if I botched the last name there. Good morning to you. V. Holy, what is up, man? V, it's been a minute. Good to see you, brother. Tracy St. Clair watching over on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Thomas Weirden, excuse me. Freight morning. Let's crush Monday. Amen to that. Catherine Whitehouse. Good Monday morning, all. James Johnson. He looks like he has a question. How would you explain if given the keys to no knowledge from A to Z, from sales to operation, nobody to help, how do you learn without failing and losing the client? Adds a lot, man. James, I will save this question for on Friday's show. James, I do Q&A. All right. And I will answer this on Friday's show, and I will put that out there because there's a lot to break down here, man. There's a lot to break down here, but I will help you out with this. It's just got to wait till Friday, man. Let me see here. Zena, happy Monday to you as well. No way. I did? I got it right? Let's go, Jamie. Bill McIntyre, good morning, everyone. Freight Fest was dope. Didn't get to catch you out. Oh, man. Yeah, dude. I wish I would have saw you there, brother. I'm sorry. Yeah, dude. It was literally as soon as I got done speaking, I had to get to the airport because I had to fly to San Diego. Buddy, a really, really good friend of mine was getting married this weekend, and I had to get out there for that. Let me see here. Dylan Turner, good day. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks, James. I appreciate it, man. I am just going to, I don't know, I can't copy and paste that. I will get that though, James, and we will get that answered up there on Friday. But we got some articles to break down here in a little bit. Let me see here. I'm going to see. Give me just one second. I'm sorry, guys. I'm dealing with some stuff in the business. I'm trying to get my some freight picked up. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm moving freight right now. I got stuff happening, and I like I say this all the time, you guys. I'm in this with you. I'm building this stuff up with you. And it's none of this stuff is perfect, right? And I just want that to really be the response to a lot of stuff, because I think that that's one thing that kind of holds a lot of people back in a lot of the decision making in their life is they're waiting for the perfect time to do stuff. And there's not, right? There's not a perfect time ever. There's not a perfect freight market. There's none of that goes on out there. And for me, you guys, I'm just going to be out here, making it happen with you guys every single day. And this is just the realities of actually bootstrapping a business in a startup, right? Like I got freight moving. I have, I got my freight company. I have the media company here, which is, and they kind of go hand in hand, but I'm also, trying to balance all this shit out every single day. And I got, it's hard, it's hard. I'm never going to sit up here and say that it's not. It's extremely challenging to keep everything, on point. And that's the reality that you're not going to see out there from other content creators, and other people who are posting out there on the internet is I'm not trying to make myself look to be some fucking all-star that doesn't make any, I'm just like every single one of you guys. This is extremely challenging to balance all of this stuff out to make it work. But it's supposed to be challenging, right? So if don't ever get that imposter syndrome where it's like you scroll through LinkedIn these days and it seems like you're the only one who can't figure it out. Don't worry, those guys don't have it all figured out either. They're just trying to post in a certain type of way to make themselves look cool. But from the individuals that are actually building stuff, it's very evident, you guys, because it's not easy. All right, like it takes a ton of sacrifice, a ton of work, but it's worth every single second of it. But let me see here. Corey, what's up, dude? Appreciate it, man. Thomas, freight over everything. Thomas, you're right, bro. You are right. All right, let's get into some articles here, you guys. John Radvansky, what is going on? He's watching over on YouTube. Yeah, you guys, it's Q. Obviously, you're going to scroll through any social media. It's Q4, the last quarter, yada yada yada, all that stuff that's going on out there. But as we always talk about, you guys, the market is changing. All right, the market's changing. Things are changing. Prices are fluctuating up and down, left and right now. But the good thing is at least this is what I'm utilizing every single day is I, Green Screen's partner of mine. Obviously, you guys see their logo up here on the board, on the screen. I literally use them to price every single shipment that I'm moving, every single one of them that I'm moving right now. And we are winning a lot of freight because it is coming with the results of the more accurate real-time data. Because, at least for my book of business, you guys, like, yes, I have a contracted customer that's out there, but a lot of it is same day spot market freight, right? It's that last minute, hey, I need this load picked up right now in Idaho and I need it brought down to Los Angeles. What's your price? Right. And then for me, that's the thing is you need that real-time accurate data. So I use Green Screens all the time, every single day. That's where I'm moving all my freight. If you guys want to check them out, greenscreens.ai/freight coach. Again, I'm winning business with them. Let's see here. SP Freight, morning orange shirts. It's from Jamie Parker watching over on YouTube. I love it. Orange shirt gang's a lifestyle. Shout out to Sunny Sharma out here. All right. First article we're going to break down today. Fleetowner.com. The humanless difference. Autonomous efficiency goes beyond fuel savings. This article really, really makes me irate. So we're going to read it down because I kind of skimmed it. Yeah, but as soon as I started reading this one, I was like, we got to talk about this. Early autonomous trucking is more fuel efficient than traditional long haul operations. However, the actual fleet savings could come from taking the trucker out of trucking. I'm going to stop right now and say I am 1000% against that statement. That is an absolute joke. But anyways, back in there. And it goes on to say, like so many Americans, the trucking industry is learning more about AI's potential benefits and pitfalls. Too Simple recently published details on AI trucking benefits. I'm assuming that's their product name. Self-driving Class A tractors are getting 11% better fuel economy on open roads in Arizona and even better results on some specific routes when compared to human-driven tractor trailers. Other trucking AV companies told Fleet Owner this week they are also finding similar gains thanks to the smoother, slower, and predictable robotic driving on divided highways. Brad Yeseldik, Trimble's director of autonomy business development, told Fleet Owner he expects actual long-haul AV fuel savings to be closer to 10% than higher numbers, maybe even a little bit lower. From a fuel standpoint, I don't think it's going to be so great. He explained during an interview at the Trimble Insight User Conference, I think the real cost saving from autonomous vehicles is going to be on driver cost, which is about 45% of the overall cost of transport. So if you eliminate that, and I am not suggesting it's going to be 100% elimination because there could be other unforeseen costs, that's where the real savings is going to come from. He says Trimble recently surveyed more than 150 C-suite executives and found that number one reason for adopting autonomous technology would be for lower costs, followed by improving safety. With thousands of Americans killed each year on the freeway, AV companies have touted safety as the chief benefit of their tech. Louis Nastro, who's Trimble's senior director of strategy for its on-road autonomy division, said he takes an engineering perspective for AV cost benefits. Human drivers operate differently. Some might be heavier on the gas while others might be heavier on the brakes. Fuel is part of it, but it will be the harder that you're driving the vehicle, the more diminishing the maintenance cycles, and you're going to have vehicle diagnostics and prognostic issues. And then if you can harmonize the aggregate across an entire fleet to get consistent operation through autonomy and fuel, yes, there's an environmental impact and the cost impact, he continued, but there's also heavy maintenance aspects that you're driving more consistently than diagnostics. The futuristic fleet savings is still many, many years away, but with the development and potential of AV or autonomous, AV to augment fleet operations, which is still being tested out there. It's powerful. And then this is about the future of work. And I'm tired of people talking about the future of work without talking about the future of workers. Said, oh, sorry, my screen glitched out here and it skipped ahead. Let me see here. The unions, like the Teamsters, are pushing politicians to pump the brakes on robotic trucks. And I will also say at this moment, this is something that I can agree with the Teamsters on. Anyways, back to this. Lorena Gonzalez is a California Labor Federation executive treasurer. He said that California legislator AB 316, which would have limited AV truck testing and operations through the rest of the decade. Big tech continues to say we're going to make life more efficient. No, you're going to make your life more profitable. Of course, technological advancements have been changing since man invented the wheel, but most AV fleets providers that were out there. All right, let me see here. I just got to say, like, there needs to be actual litigate laws in place to protect workers here, because I will agree with Lorena on this one, Lorena Gonzalez, because this is something that, no company in this article came out and said we're looking to remove the driver, but that's the ultimate goal here is they're looking to remove the driver, and it's always going to be under the guise of something else, right? Because last time I checked, the autonomous vehicles are still getting into accidents and breaking down and everything else, and they're going to all say, "Oh, it's the testing," yada yada yada. But still, this isn't going to eliminate traffic fatalities. All right, traffic fatalities are always going to be a part of it. What I am going to, I'm just against removing workers. Like, that's my biggest complaint with automation. And now, yes, I do say this all the time that 95% of my job should be automated, because it should. Like, I shouldn't be manually building up shipments, and and even with the advancements in quoting and everything else. But what should never be automated is the human element of it, the why people want to work with your business and everything else. And we should never, I don't support technology replacing humans at all. I believe in technology enhancing people's abilities, but removing the trying to sit here and say that, oh, we can remove the driver from the car, that's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. I am 1000% against this at all. And there needs to be legislation put in to control this stuff so we can keep people out there. I mean, AB5 is already a joke of a law that's out there, pretty much banishing small business. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm against it. And now there's other things that are going to come about. Like, I like innovation, but like we can't be parading around saying like, hey, let's take the driver out of the truck. That's 45% of the cost. It's ridiculous. You're taking away jobs, and then what? Where are these people going to go work? Huh? What are we going to do there? What's the grand plan here? But of course, we're not going to do that. We're not going to talk about that, because it's all about a couple of people making money and everything else. Anyways, let me see here. Matt McClelland, who is with Covenant Logistics, says, we think it's going to make a better decision than the driving, at least for a good one, but we don't see AV replacing any of our drivers, he noted. We see it augmenting the fleet. Maybe at some point after we're all pushing up daisies, that'll be the case. But what we tell our drivers right now is that if you take a job with us as a 21-year-old driver, you can retire with us. And you're going to need to see more and more companies coming out there and taking that, because you see a lot of these larger fleets definitely exploring battery powered and autonomous. They have a whole division on that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not against it, or I'm not for it at all. I think that any time that you see stuff that threatens the job of the industry that I love, I'm against it. I'm against it wholeheartedly about replacing drivers. I mean, if you're going to look to increase safety, for example, and everything else. I mean, again, look at the airlines, for example. It's damn near on autopilot the whole time, but there's still two pilots in the cockpit for a reason. And I want to see legislation in there that protects the American truck driver. I'm very passionate about it. I come from a family of truck drivers. I love this industry, and I'll never waver on that stance, no matter what. That article, fleetowner.com. The Humanless Difference is the title of that one. Next article is also from fleetowner.com, and this is from Warner. This is titled Warner CEO, we're going to stay tech agnostic rather than commit to electrics. Shaky financials and pressing infrastructure questions are keeping Warner from making sizable bets on electric trucks, says Derek Leathers. Speaking to the Morgan Stanley Laguna gathering earlier this month, Leathers reiterated his team's commitment to reducing its carbon footprint 55% by 2035, but added that getting there won't be about committing to electrics for the number 13 company on the for hire list, particularly because the cost involves. The economic of long-haul EV are still very difficult to make work. It's a highly subsidized current environment, and you must assume subsidies go away over time. Finally, somebody speaks the truth about all of this stuff, because let's call it what it is, you guys. This is a very much a current administration push, right? There is no denying that. If you are new to the political spectrum, the left is always about green, clean energy. The right is about drilling, diesel, fuel, all of that stuff, you guys. So it's no secret that that's out there. But again, these subsidies go away, and this is a lot of money to do this. So I'm glad that this is brought up in an actual conversation, as opposed to the ones that are probably being had behind closed doors that are just saying, just wait till the administration changes and then we'll go back to the combustion diesel engines, which I'm a massive fan of. Anyways, on top of that, Leathers noted our questions both about the broader environmental issues and around EV raw materials and supply chains, as well as the nearly insurmountable headwind from building out and paying for the infrastructure for charging, specifically for a beefed up electric grid. The upshot, Warner, which is a fleet of nearly 10,000 trucks, will continue to spread its new technology investments. Earlier this year, it placed two Freightliner BEVs into service in Southern California. But he goes on to say, we're going to stay tech agnostic, and we're going to continue to test hydrogen, dual fuel, electric, and renewable natural gas. We'll look across the entire spectrum to put the best technology where it makes the most sense. Also speaking was Schneider CFO Steve Bruffett, who echoed Leathers' approach of tackling decarbonization through multiple approaches. And then that's even though he and his team are running the number 7 carrier out there on the for hire. Bruffett was not clear in his take on the financial equation, saying that there's absolutely no economic framework to support it as of today. And then it goes on that the electric vehicles role in trucking could be somewhat limited in the near term, and then whether the financial picture improves over time to make that. And then he says that there are viable alternatives today that would significantly impact that equation. But if it does not satisfy regulatory hurdles in front of you, it becomes a moot discussion. I just think that, again, there's so much push for a lot of this stuff that, again, the after effects aren't ever really talked about. And it's, our country is nowhere near ready from a power grid perspective to sustain having what they're trying to do. Because I mean, you're like, oh, it's 2035. That's not a long way. That's a very, very short time overall to do some of this stuff. So again, you guys, vote, get out there and vote. Talk to your local, Anthony Petit, who was on my show last Thursday. We were talking about that. You got to call your local congressman, congresswoman. If you don't agree with this stuff, you guys call them and voice your displeasure about this or your opinion. But yeah, that article, fleetowner.com, Warner CEO, we're going to stay tech agnostic. And, again, I just think it's an absolute push by one way, but I'm glad Derek Leathers said what he said, is that these subsidies are not forever. They're going to run out. And how can you plan a business out there? At least this is the way I'm perceiving what he said. How can you plan a business out there if the money's going to go away and the infrastructure's not there? Because this stuff is extremely expensive to do. As always, you guys, the links to the articles, I will put them up over on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay. All right, last article. And this is, I'm glad I saw this one because this was from middle of last week, but it was from Freight Waves. And then broker dodges liability in $18 million verdict and had no control over the carrier. We've broke down a lot of articles. C.H. Robinson had, obviously C.H. Robinson's the largest freight broker. So they're in a lot of litigation, it seems. And they're the one that they're really known for recently is this one, C.H. Robinson versus Miller. And it's an Illinois appellate court, let me see here, in a case with strong parallels to the C.H. Robinson versus Miller. And the case simply known as Yee, not to be confused with Kanye West. An Illinois appellate court has removed a 3PL for more than an $18 million decision against a carrier whose truck struck a teenager in 2016. The appellate court for the First District of Illinois removed 3PL Alliance shippers from the verdict handed down in the case of Francine Cornejo versus Dakota Lines, the carrier, Gordon Lewis, the driver, and Alliance. Cornejo is the mother of Gustavo Cornejo, a minor at the time who was with his father on the other side of the road in Sauk Village when he was struck by a truck driver driven by Lewis, who was hauling auto parts for Dakota Lines. And Gustavo Cornejo suffered significant injuries. And then in December of 2021, a jury ruled against Dakota Lewis and Alliance and awarded Cornejo on behalf of her son an $18 million verdict. Alliance appealed the verdict, arguing that the 3PL that booked Dakota, it could not be held liable. As a case in state court, Alliance could not invoke the Federal Aviation Administration Authorization Act that C.H. Robinson in the Miller case, Global Trans in the Yee case, and Landstar in the stolen cargo case involving a guy named James, in air quote, had cited in federal courts. They had argued that the Act's trucking provision protected the 3PL from liability in cases involving theft and injuries. C.H. Robinson did not prevail in its argument. Global Trans and Landstar ultimately did. The inconsistency in the decision raises the possibility that the U.S. Supreme Court will be asked to review the cases, which has already chose not to do in an attempt by C.H. Robinson. The decision in the Alliance case was handed down by a unanimous 3-judge panel on Wednesday. Alliance argues that the trial court erred by refusing to grant Alliance a judgment because Alliance was not vicariously liable for the Lewis's negligence that was out there. An online definition of NOV is notwithstanding the verdict. It is further defined as a reversal of the jury's verdict by the trial judge. The appeals panel, citing precedent, said that the judgment is handed down in limited cases that were out there. I think that this is one of those articles, you guys, I want everybody to be very aware of, because a lot of times, it's terrible that people get injured, right? It's terrible that people get hurt in some instances killed. But the reality is it's going to happen. And, this is the importance of vetting your providers, right? And carriers need to vet brokers just as much, right? You need to have some standards in place while you're doing this. And again, it doesn't, at least from what I saw in this article, it doesn't go into stating a lot of the details about what exactly happened in there. But these articles are extremely important for everybody to read, carriers and brokers alike, because you can and will be held liable. If you are a part of that transaction at all, they will sue you. It's been proven. I can't, okay, let me rephrase that, because I can't say that it will ultimately happen, but it has been proven time and time again that if you are a broker on a shipment and something happens where somebody gets injured, the probability increases that you will be pulled in to said litigation out there. And you need to have stuff documented about what you're doing to vet your partners when you are moving freight. You guys, you really do. You see it with C.H. Robinson. Again, I'm not ripping on Robinson at all, but they've been in some pretty high profile cases here. You guys Google this stuff and see. And my main thing is if you don't have a policy in place, if you don't have something in place. You need to, because you will get pulled into this stuff. And if you can't prove your innocence out there, you might be pulled into some of these judgments. So again, great article overall from Freight Waves on this one, breaking it down. Broker dodges liability in $18 million verdict because it had no control over a carrier. But definitely check that one out and read it. My man Zach Lonergan says, if you would like to see a cool diesel electric hybrid called Edison Motors, there could be a totally compromise between autonomous and traditional trucking. Appreciate you sharing that, my man. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, you guys, the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation. And if you got value in what you heard here today, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share it out there to your network, because that's how we're number one. That's how we're going to continue to remain number one, is because of each and every one of you. And the fact that if you see value, your network will see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.